Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back home to USA Global TV and Radio and today's show, Authentic Achievements, where it's my absolute delight to be joined by the fabulous, fortunate Kufakunesu, who's married, mother of 4, 1 boy and 3 girls. She's a pastor, a certified life coach, a marriage and family counselor and therapist, a teacher, an award-winning author, a She Talker, the country director for She Talks Zimbabwe, a G100 country director, mental health first aider, and first aider with St. John's Ambulance. She's the founder and executive director of Lily of Valleys of Home of Hope, a legally registered NGO that empowers adolescent girls and young women in vulnerable communities. Unfortunately, is also the founder and director of Life Issues Solutions Hub, an organization that assists girls and women in vulnerable situations to identify and leverage their strengths and areas of concern to lead empowering lives. Fortunate, welcome.
Thank you so much, Kim. I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, I'm so grateful to have you join us, Fortunate. And what an amazing journey that you are on, and that you are helping create for other other women, particularly those younger women and children that are faced with such unfortunate circumstances, to create that empowering path. Can you bring to life a little bit more for us about what you do and how you help?
Thank you, Kim. Let me take you back to 1972, the 25th of March, when a 15-year-old teenager gave birth in a rural area of Chiwota in Zimbabwe, in Africa, to a baby girl. And then she left this child with a blind grandmother. The mother had suffered glaucoma and she was losing her sight by day. But this 15-year-old teenage mother had no choice but to leave for the city to be a housemaid so that she can look after her daughter and her mother. So by the time this young girl was 5 years, the grandmother had lost sight completely. And all of the house chores was now on this young girl. School became a luxury because of the grandmother's disability. So she had to look after the grandmother, sees that she goes and relieve herself every day. If at all she got a time to go to school, it was here and there. And the community then did not value education for a girl child. A girl child was merely seen as a perfect candidate for marriage. So this girl child would go to school here and there at the mercy of the school staff because the grandmother and the mother could not afford the school fees, let alone the school uniform. In this community, most girls were given to marriage at the age of 14. And this girl child was growing. This girl child knew the story of her mother, because when she gave birth to her, she was 15 years. So she was impregnated at the age of 14. And that was her fear. But God answered her prayers and sent a couple who rescued her from this situation. They took her to the city, sponsored education, secondary education, and tertiary education. And that is how her story changed. And this girl child that we are talking about is the woman speaking to you right now. So when I was growing up, I saw dreams being shattered, many girls being given to marriage as early as 14 years, and to older men who had no vision, men who did not or were not valuing women, men who never thought that women can do something else better than bearing children. After my education at a teacher's training college, I then thought, if one couple helped me, then I feel I have to go back and rescue more. That was the birth of Lily of Valley's Home of Hope. I am founder and director for Lily of Valley's Home of Hope, a legally registered not-for-profit organization that empowers girls and young women. Thank you.
Wow. I mean, I'm slightly lost. What a journey. And to have gone through so much at such a young age, and then to take that lived experience and, to your point, to go back and rescue others, is just such a gift you're giving to the world. So on behalf of everybody you help, thank you for having the courage to take your journey and take the valuable lessons from it and share them with people who need them to help them across the journey that they're on.
Thank you.
So I've got so many questions. Where to start? So obviously, in all the things that you do, of which you do so many, they really are driven, aren't they, about creating that environment where girls can thrive, where they can recognize that actually there is more that they can do, there is more value that they can add. They aren't here just to bear children. And so how do you help them to start thinking about creating the story of their life that they would like to be part of when they're so entrenched in the story they're currently living?
Okay, so it's Lily of Valleys, what we are doing, our main objective. In fact, our vision is empowered women, young girls and adolescent girls and young women to pursue their life goals free from gender-based violence and poverty. And our main objective is to keep them in school. And we have been helping them to be in school all the time through paying their school fees, that is in rural areas, paying their school fees, giving them a year's supply of sanitary ware, and building ablution blocks and drilling boreholes for the schools that have got poor sanitation. And we also give them stationery and school uniform. So we have recently realized that, yes, we are helping them to be in school, but the pass rate remains low because we do not have adequate learning resources. And we have started on an initiative of constructing a knowledge hub, which consists of a library and a computer lab and a studying wall. This we have done it as a community project so that every other school can use the knowledge hub. The girls in school can come and use the knowledge hub. The girls and the young women who had dropped out of school can also come back and pursue their education in that knowledge hub. So we are now at the foundation level. Our area that we serve currently has got 16 schools, and they've got 4,919 households. And in total, we do have 83 villages. But this knowledge hub will serve 7 schools, and it will also serve 27 villages of the 83 that I have mentioned. We are feeling that through this knowledge hub, then the girls who had dropped out of school can have the opportunity to pursue their education and become who they are meant to be in life. And also those who are in school can also use the adequate resources in that knowledge hub and also become influential in their part. That is how we feel we can change their lives, because I have seen the power of education. Even in the face of adversity and limited resources, education can transform lives.
Wow, I love that. I think I'm definitely a lifelong learner and a huge advocate of continuing to learn and continuing to grow, and completely agree with your passion for the fact that your education and knowledge can transform lives even in the darkest times, can't it? It can give you a lifeline to see that there is another way. There's something available, something else that's available. I think almost having the knowledge that someone's been in your situation and got out is hugely helpful, isn't it? In the fact, well, if I can follow their steps, if I can take their advice, if I can take their learning, then I could follow those steps too. I could make that my future, like my next step. I love that whole idea around the knowledge hub and that being a way to support such a broad community. So 8 schools, 23 villages. I mean, that's hugely impactful, isn't it? And so what next after you've launched that? What's your next focus?
Okay, currently we are on this knowledge hub, and it's just because our resources are not enough at the moment. We would have loved to complete this knowledge hub by October, finished and ready for use. And then we also move to other communities as well, since I mentioned earlier that we've got 85 villages. So we are working with 3 wards. This one ward has got 27 villages. And then we move to the next and the next, so that we can have all schools and all school dropouts covered.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing. So impactful to be able to kind of see that vision and bring it to life. And to create that community collective growth as well, because you're supporting not just the girls and the women, but the community as a whole gets impacted as well, doesn't it, as part of their growth and empowerment.
You are right. With the Knowledge Hub, we are covering the entire community, it's not, even though our heart is on the girl child, but this knowledge hub will serve more than a girl child and a young woman, but the entire community.
I love that, because it's all, and then we all grow and learn together, don't we? So we all get better educated and understand more how we can impactfully, positively, impactfully help each other to kind of keep moving forward. So there's so many other things that you do as well, though, fortunate, which I'd love for us to delve into. It's knowing quite where to start. But I know, which is how we connected, that you, like me, are a fellow She Talk member, and that you're leading the country for Zimbabwe. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what inspires you to be part of that community?
Okay, so when I met Dr. Julie, I saw an amazing soul. She's a woman she's an inspiration. She's a woman who brings together women and they help one another. And she has invested so much in a woman's life. So, in fact, she was the kind of woman that I was looking for all along, that I can learn from, that I can sit before and learn from. So when I met here, wow, so far I have learned so much from here, when she is talking and even when she is not, through what she does, and even when she's quiet, because her heart is on a woman. So yeah, when I joined the group, I just wanted to learn so that I can change lives of girls and women more. But I saw that it's not just about the girls in my country. There is a woman who is changing girls and women's lives worldwide.
I love that. She is quite an inspiration, isn't she? And I love that she's creating such an inclusive and empowering community to ensure everybody rises together, as they say, and the ships rise, they rise together. And I think, the fact that she's taking that globally and allowing people to have a safe space to connect and to learn from each other and to share with each other, because I think we each learn from each other as much as we teach each other something, because in that sharing of those experiences and very often, I know certainly from the people that I've spoken to, that's been the bit that's been lacking, is finding a global community that creates that psychological safe space where you can learn and grow together. Is that something you've found a lack before you met Dr. Julie? Sorry, I'm not sure if you quite heard me. Sorry. So fortunately, is that something that you also found was lacking? That kind of where do you go to find that supportive community of like-minded women who are wanting to empower and learn together?
My network is...
We lose. I tell you what we'll do, because I think we're having a few technical difficulties. So what I'm going to do is cut to the commercials, and hopefully after the commercial break, we will have been able to reconnect properly over those technical challenges. So let's go to our commercial break, please.
In a world craving connection, one platform dared to dream bigger. USA Global TV and Radio, a beacon for global voices, authentic storytelling, and elevated listening. Led by visionary Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the journey from a spark to a global force is now captured in one inspiring book. Honored with YouTube's Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers, discover the evolution, the challenges, the triumphs, and the unstoppable spirit that created a global movement. Executive producer Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang. Creative director Paul Garcia. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Now an Amazon #1 new release in paperback and ebook. Broadcasting Brilliance, the evolution of USA Global TV and Radio, is inspiring readers around the world. Join the movement that's redefining global media one story at a time.
Hello and welcome back. So we've just having a few challenges. So Fortunate's internet has gone down. So you're stuck with just me for a little bit as we try and bring Fortunate back. But what I wanted to do was really share kind of my thoughts on what we've heard so far. I think so often, particularly for me, living in the UK, we can forget that some of the things that we take for granted are things that other people aspire to have. And we don't think really about going to school or having the resources to be able to learn, or having to instead take on the work and activities of an adult at such a young age. And as mum to a little 8-year-old, it really brought it home to me. Could I imagine what her life would be like if actually that was her expectation? It made me feel like, you know, the odd chore that I get her to do probably isn't quite as challenging as I sometimes think it is. And we wonder about, should we be getting them to do more things and helping around the house? But I think for me, one of the things that is so empowering about Fortunate's journey and her mission to help others is in helping people see that there is another way. As you know, we've talked a lot on this show about the power of our mind and how we can reframe that thinking, how we can think about something else if what we're thinking about doesn't serve us, and how for very, very often we go through life believing something that doesn't actually serve us well, that doesn't allow us to step in and be whoever it is that we were here to be. And that we have to go back and kind of unpick, what is it we're telling ourselves? What is it that we are creating in our story? And do we understand that actually we are creating our story? We are the ones that hold the pen. And I know for me, certainly, very often it didn't feel like I was the one holding the pen. I waited for life to unfold, for somebody to tell me what was coming next, until I realized that actually I could do something different about that. I could go and understand, why did I think these things about myself? What did I want my story to be? And so we were hoping to talk with Fortune, and we're still hoping to bring her back, about story, vision, and purpose, because they're things that we often think about when we're thinking about an organization. Do we understand its vision? Do we understand its purpose? Is there something we can connect with? Because in this ever-evolving, digitally advanced world in which we live, the one thing that we're craving more than anything is connection. We want to be joined with people so that we can understand how we can move forward. And I think for me, it's about that intentionality of having that vision, that purpose for ourselves. I may have shared once before, Scarlett and I, my little girl, we actually created our family vision. So what is it we wanted to do? What story did we want to create that would enable us to hold ourselves to account for creating the life we wanted to lead? And we came up with living a life of passionate curiosity and passing our thoughts, words, and deeds through the lenses of, is it kind? Is it honest? And does it add value? And using that as a yardstick before we made any choices on what we say or what we do. It appears we're not going to be able to get Fortunate back, but I am delighted to say that Dr. Jacqueline is going to come and join the conversation, which I'm so looking forward to, because it would be great for her to share her story, vision and purpose around USA Global TV and radio, which has been such an inspiration to so many of us and is now accumulated in her latest book. So Dr. Jacqueline, thank you for joining me.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here. Good to see you. I was really enjoying the interview. And I just want to share that I had the absolute pleasure and honor of being a panelist at the World Summit for Women and Girls in London in November. I was invited by Christine. This is definitely a subject that really resonates with me. We were talking about the media and giving women more voice so that they can share their story and empower others.
Oh, I love that. And I remember you going to that panel. And it's kind of one of the reasons why you have been so passionate about this platform, isn't it? And helping it grow. So can you share with our audience, because very often you're so kindly and so eloquently letting us all share our stories that maybe yours doesn't get shared as broadly as it should. So can you tell us about that? Because it's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
Yes, it absolutely has. And I have to say, because of something that was really unfortunate, something that was really painful and difficult to go through, this platform really started to evolve. And that was the fact that I was a full-time caregiver for my mother, who had dementia, and it was during the pandemic. And so I moved in to take care of her, and I'd already retired from my corporate job just a few months before, thinking that I'd be a full-time life coach. And long story short, I ended up being invited to do a radio show, and then I was invited to do a television show. And from there, I just learned what these people were doing and how to do it myself. And so that was how things started. And then we had 4 shows, then we had 10 shows. Now we have 60 shows. And I'm actually in the process of planning a trip to London. As you know, I'm hoping to see you. And I'm going to other countries as well to talk to people about doing TV shows / podcasts in their native languages, so that we'll be running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Amazing. And I'm super grateful that I've been allowed to be part of the team and on this journey with you since nearly the beginning, and I've seen it grow and flourish. And just the fact that you're creating a space where people have a platform to connect and to learn. And I love also that you, which hopefully people know about you, but in case they don't, you're also so passionate about the power of listening, truly listening to people. And I think it's a key part, isn't it? When we think about story, vision and purpose, we've got to really tune in and listen to really understand either what's going on for us or what's going on for the other person. So could you share with us a few things that we can do to become better listeners?
Absolutely. Thanks for asking. So I'll just spotlight myself just for this question, since I'm producing the show too. So one of the things that I really like people to think about is part of the reason I feel that there's so much strife in the world and also divorce rates are so high is we're not listening to each other. And we get highly emotional, highly volatile, and we're unable to calm ourselves down. So something happens to us and our first thing is, I need to call someone. I need to tell someone. And what I teach people is you actually don't. You actually can sit with it for a little while, see how you feel about it, and then make a decision to share with someone else. Because when we're highly emotional and then we contact another person, then they're taking on our energy and so on and so on. But we're not actually looking for the solution. What is the solution to the issue? And as Fortunate was talking about with the work that she's doing, her organizations are doing, and Kim, what you're doing with Authentic Achievements, it's about finding solutions. How can I help people? How can I give them what they need, the tools that they need? But if you were sitting there crying and highly emotional all the time, you wouldn't be getting anything done. And I think that's what people are remiss in not seeing. So we've got obviously a world that's very polarized with, I feel this way about that, and you feel this way about this. And that's when we get into the whole aspect of judgment, judging each other because we don't feel the same about certain issues or about the foundation or the core of who we are. And so in the courses that I teach and in the books that I've written, what I want people to realize is that giving someone that elevated listening where you are completely and totally and utterly present is truly a gift, because when someone is really listening to us, and Kim, I'm going to come back to you. We just had a class a couple of weeks ago, I guess, setting boundaries and asking permission. And you were speaking about something that was highly important to you. And everybody in the meeting was just honed in on what you were saying. And then people had something to say afterwards that what you shared really resonated with them and really inspired them and touched them. And that's because you were speaking from your heart and people were listening. And I just like to ask you, knowing that people were really listening to you, how did you feel in the moment?
Well, I mean, one, it was a great course, so I highly recommend it. And two, it was, I've always thought listening is an act of love. And when people truly listen to you, you feel safe. You feel safe. You feel loved, and you feel protected. And I felt all of those in that moment, which allows you to then work through kind of what's going on for you in that world. And I think for me, one of the things we chatted about it on that course is being able to share with somebody if you're not in a position where you're able to listen yet, because and I used to be dreadful for this. I remember having probably about 28 years ago now, we had to write down some feedback, some things the person did well and something the person didn't do well, and then hand it in. It was a team leader training piece. And I got my feedback, and this one lady, a new team leader, had written down, the thing I do well was I'm always super helpful. And I, nothing's too much trouble. I will help her do anything. And the thing I did badly, she wasn't sure I was always listening. And I was mortified. My first response was, well, of course I was listening. And I was like, no, I wasn't. I didn't listen. And I didn't listen because when she came over, I was actually in the middle of doing something and I really needed to finish it. Not always, but on occasion, because it was for a client or it was for somebody else that needed it to be done. But I was conflicted because she was a new team leader and I didn't want to be unsupportive. So instead of saying to her, can I just have 2 moments while I finish this because it needs to go, and then I'm entirely yours, I used to look at her and continue to think about what it was that I needed to do. And I hadn't realized that she knew that. She spotted that. And so I remember saying to her, from here on in, I will be honest with you and say, can you just give me 2 minutes if I'm not in a place where I'm available to really listen to you? And if you catch me not listening, do me a favor and say, Kim, are you listening? And it was a great pivotal moment for me to realize that actually you've got to be ready to be able to really listen. And then you've really got to develop and hone that skill, which Dr. Jackson, you're brilliant at helping people with, which is how do we improve our listening and listen on that elevated level to understand the other person rather than to wait for an opportunity to make them understand us.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. And again, you are so good at what you do. And I'm truly grateful that you're here with us, because every time you are on this platform, you are giving so many gems of wisdom and you're just a beautiful light. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm back at you, Dr. Jackson. I think for me, one of the things that I pinch myself for every day, I'm so grateful for, is that I get to spend time with amazing souls like you that are just trying to serve others, to try and leave things better than we found them. I think that goes to the heart of our purpose, of our mission. Of what we're trying to achieve in our, and what I also love about the platform and about what you do is you let people be themselves. You let people be whoever they're going to be, and that so aligns with me. Which is why I call my show Authentic Achievements. Is how do we find the courage to be us, to be who we are, and to not worry that might not look the same as what somebody else wants to look or say, but to create that that hugely respectful space where we might not always agree, but we don't disrespect. And I think for me, I know you shared, a story of where you may have had people that you don't necessarily agree or share the same opinion, but you absolutely believe in their right to have an opportunity to share their opinion, and to have that done in a non-judgmental way, which I think is just a true gift.
Thank you very much. A couple of points to what you just stated. We absolutely have had, I think we have over 7,000 actual videos now that we've done since we started, which is amazing. But we've had a number of guests over the years who have had viewpoints that are very different than mine. And as you know, in the beginning, I was doing all the shows myself.
Yeah.
And now we have so many shows, and now I'm focused more on the back end of the business. But no one would ever know if I agreed or didn't agree with what they were saying, because my role as a host and as an interviewer, it's to bring out the best in the guests and to follow where the guest wants to take the story. And I just saw on Instagram, I think it was, an A-list celebrity was being interviewed about a new project that he has. And apparently there was a conversation before the interview that they would not discuss this other situation that's been in the press. So the interviewer asked this person 3 different times about this scenario that he didn't want to talk about. And finally, the A-list celebrity used a curse word and just said, "What is, your problem? Why are you asking me these things?" And it was because the TV show host, or the interviewer, I should say, made it about himself. It was all about him, and he embarrassed the guest. And so for me, that person wasn't listening. That person was in their ego and maybe thought, "Oh, I'll break this person on worldwide television, see what he has to say. I'm the one who'll get the story about this situation." And here on our platform, part of the reason why I have been a little bit remiss in going to other languages is because I wouldn't know what people were saying. And it started out that Roland, who is one of our show hosts here in Europe, he is doing shows in German, and I have no idea what he's saying, but I trust him. I mean, I know he's out of the box and he says some things sometimes that are different than what I would agree with, but that doesn't matter. He has the right to say what he wants. So I have had to step aside from my fear and my wanting to control to believe that people will be speaking in other languages about issues that are important and sharing their story. So that's like a huge leap of faith for me, but I'm listening to my intuition. It's telling me this is time.
Oh, I love that. And it can be so hard, can't it, Dr. Jacqueline, to have the courage to take the step, even when we know that we're being told that that's the step we need to take. It's still uncomfortable, isn't it, to step into that? But I don't know what they're saying. I'm all about listening. So am I being a good listener when I can't understand what they're saying? So I can imagine like all the conflict. But I think you're right. What you're doing is, rather than allowing your fear to hold the platform back, you're stepping into the fact that your purpose, if we go back to what we're talking about, is to create a space globally where people can learn together and people can share their lived experience. And we can only truly do that if we do it in lots of languages, because if not, we're not being inclusive, which I know is absolutely against all your values, because we're going, well, unless you can speak English, you can't learn. And we know that that's not true. So I think you should be so proud of yourself that you are constantly putting that passion and that purpose of serving ahead of your fear and having the courage to step into the uncomfortable.
Thank you very much. I'm going to do something else that's uncomfortable. I have reached out to someone in Paris, and this person is going to meet with me, and they actually teach French. And so I took French for, I think, about 6 years, but I have no one to speak with. So I said to this person, I'd like to start interviewing people in French. So she said, it's going to take about a year or 2 before you're completely proficient. I said, you know what? I'm here to learn. So I'm going to start taking French again so that I can interview people in French.
Oh, I love that. What an amazing thing to do. I think that's great. I'm kind of trying a little bit of French. I did French at school, but not since. But Scarlett's starting it, so I'm kind of trying to brush up. So I'm not committing that I will be able to be interviewed in French, but I might be able to at least listen to what's going on and understand. Dr. Jacqueline, I always enjoy our time together, and I've just realised we're out of time. Woo! How did that happen? Thank you so much for coming in and joining me and saving the audience from having to listen to just me witter on at them for 20 minutes. And our great thanks also to Fortunate for being here and starting this conversation. And we will make sure that ways to get in touch with her are in the show notes. So I hope you found today as insightful and inspiring as I have. And until next time, take care.
Ever dreamed of hosting your own TV show, sharing your story with a global audience? Now's your chance to shine. At USA Global TV and Radio, we make it easy for you to create, host, and broadcast your very own TV show. Whether you're a storyteller, entrepreneur, or industry expert, we help you bring your vision to life. With our exclusive interview, live streaming, and podcasting training, you'll gain the skills and confidence to captivate your audience. Our global platform ensures your voice is heard worldwide. Join our community of creators who are already making an impact, one show at a time. Step into the spotlight. Host your own TV show on USA Global TV and Radio. Book your discovery call today at usaglobaltv.com. Copyright 2025 USA Global TV and Radio. All rights reserved. Terms and conditions apply. To learn more, visit usaglobaltv.com.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting the Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the secrets of visual impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, Unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect, empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, Mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette, building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you.
We face daily cyber risks, spending over 7 hours of screen time, including 4.5 hours on mobile phones. This convenience comes with significant dangers, with cybercrime costs predicted to exceed $10.5 trillion by 2025. In 2023 alone, seniors lost over $3.4 billion to cybercrime. Our goal is to make social engineering concepts of cybersecurity easier to understand. We work with business teams, senior living facilities, investment companies, and educational institutions, both individually and in groups. We offer real-life examples to help you recognize and prevent attacks, with sessions available both in person, in selected regions, and remotely. Schedule your training session, or to learn more, contact us today. Call us at 847-845-9360. Email us at info@cybersecurityeasy.com. Protect your team and family with cybersecurityeasy.com.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Steve Klein Art at steveklein.art.
My name is Steve Klein, born Manchester, England, 1953. My quest in my lifetime is to create artwork from my soul and the deepness within my wildest dreams and fantasies. In 2012, my heart stopped when I was given too much anesthetic for a minor knee operation, and this near-death experience took me to another multidimensional world, an out-of-body experience, and I was given the gift of being blessed by an overwhelming, burning passion to become, for the very first time in my life, an artist with an eternal, passionate desire to bring my art, which I've named multidimensional, subliminal, freeform art, to the world, as only 3% recover from what I experienced, and now in my golden years want to release my cosmic, vital energy through my art to allow people to be a part of my cosmic dance.
To learn more, email roccogoodwine@gmail.com. For VIP pricing, mention USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives, one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.